Hello and welcome to restorewellness.org. Today's podcast is extremely special. We have a special guest coming to us from California, David Fisher. Welcome, David.
Thank you for having me.
So in the past few, we've talked a lot of things about the technology behind wellness and the way to go after mitochondrial health. You've taken a kind of a different approach of going after health from a spiritual, mental, emotional perspective. And we thought it'd be interesting to sort of dive into that a little bit. And one of the things we've discovered over time is talking to people. You can give them the information on, hey, you should be eating this way or you should be exercising every day, but getting them motivated to actually stop what they're doing and change is always the step that sort of falls apart, and you can't get them to take that step. And your approach of coming at it from, the interpersonal side of things, maybe that's the way to get people motivated. And Keith was saying earlier that, he's been watching some of the things you've done online and you've done since you sort of changed careers. So just sort of started off with your background. How did you go from acting to talking about health and wellness and emotions?
So yeah, I was an actor, and most of the time, as an actor, you are studying human behavior, motivations, emotions, and I got stuck playing bad guys for 20.
I was just going to ask, how do you go from being a bad guy?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I killed many and died many times, but I got stuck playing a bad guy, and what that means is I'm constantly playing disturbed, being in a disturbed mind, and studying and understanding disturbed minds and being in disturbed minds. And I came from a very disturbed childhood. So eventually, due to being very successful and kind of becoming a known actor, to realizing I was still angry and miserable, and hey, hold on a moment. And then I happened to stumble onto some books by Eckhart Tolle 20 something years ago, and I started to delve into deeper understandings other than what I was utilizing for character development. And that became an interest to, oh, I've got a lot of stuff stuck in me from my childhood. And I want to figure this out. And it was affecting relationships and affecting many aspects of my life. Now, I was on a health basis. As an actor, I had to be fit and healthy. As a bad guy, I was always doing running, jumping, being blown up, being shot, and so it was being healthy anyway. Getting into acting was part of it for me, but the mental and emotional health was something that I decided I had achieved everything that seemed to be the pivotal. Here I am on movies and TV all over the world, earning great money, going to Hollywood parties, and it's a very empty place.
Wow.
I once heard Will Smith or Denzel Washington, his Will Smith, who talked about there's a rock bottom and there's the top. And in the top and the rock bottom, they're both searching for that same thing, and that's the authentic self. And that was revelational for me to say, hey, no matter how high you go or no matter how low you go, we're all searching for that relationship with the person that exists inside of us.
Absolutely. And the core of why we're looking for that is we abandoned ourselves to no one's fault to feel safe as a child. And it's due to what we call the systems in place, nuclear family, our reward systems of school, which have us externalizing, I'm going to be a good boy to keep mommy and daddy happy. Now I feel safe, which means it's pretty unsafe in general. So I abandon who I am to behave how they want me to be. And now I'm playing, and it's very unsafe. How am I to be so that they're happy? Now I have to do the same at school to get gold star and grades. Now I've got peer pressure to perform. Now the media is constantly showing me images to perform. So I'm constantly abandoning myself to fit in, to feel approved of, to feel accepted, to feel validated, to feel loved, which means that I abandon myself constantly because me as I am in the systems in place is not good enough.
I can relate that to, the fear of abandonment. And we will do a lot of things and wear masks so that we're the people that surround us won't leave us, and we morph into a personal relationship with that person so that they don't leave us, and a different relationship with that person so they like us, and you end up losing the self. And it's in that ability to overcome the fear of abandonment that I think begins the journey to the authentic self.
Absolutely. We're being inauthentic every time we are pleasing mummy and daddy, pleasing teachers, behaving so that our peers will accept us. We're being inauthentic, abandoning. And we're moving further and further and further away from what we really want is to just be able to be ourselves. And we're so busy walking on eggshells and pretending and not being true. I mean, I love the saying, to take your vitamin N. Vitamin N is to just say no.
And
No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't
right.
want to do that, honey. No, Mum, I'm not coming over for Thanksgiving. No, I'm not doing all these things that I am pretending to do to make sure that everyone's happy, because God forbid I lose their love and validation. Now I'm unsafe. So I'm performing. It's performance anxiety.
Mm.
And so,
And we're coming from a day before social media. I mean, I look at my 12-year-old grandson and the fact that, everything he sees is, 30-second clips and, the pressure to look good for that, Instagram post or the Facebook post or whatever. It's even worse than it was for our generation when it was just, you were with people in person. Now you got this whole virtual world trying to push you into what it takes to feel good.
yeah. And so we're competing and comparing with images of actors, and everybody is performing inauthentically. And the whole fashion industry is based off that. And everybody's projecting on the screen of social media, look, 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 this is who I am. This is how it's not. I always say if you could go into their secret consciousness, you would never compare yourself to them again. It's just so people are seeing things on a screen. It's the same as Hollywood when you're in the inside. It's, oh my goodness, everybody thinks it's something and it's not. And then you witness an actor on a chat show and you think they're so charming and funny and they're so happy and they don't have any problems. No, that is an actor playing an actor on a chat show, playing the actor on a chat show. That's a part of a character. It's not their real life, who they are. So we've got this world of Hollywood on screen, people looking polished and wonderful. And now we've got social media with everybody looking polished and wonderful. And people are comparing and projecting from how they are within themselves. Oh, they must be happier than me because they're coming from how they feel. Well, they don't actually know how any of these people feel. They're making an assumption, a projection. And again, it's a bit of a harsh statement. What we are witnessing is polished tarnish, which is pure inauthenticity performance. And everybody thinks the performer is who they are. And then they judge themselves because they're not like that.
Yeah.
They're judging themselves versus a script and an actor as opposed to
Yeah.
reality.
Here's a great one. This just came to me. I have a beach close to me, and a few years ago, there was no one there. It was in the week, and it just happened to be a girl behind me, and she wasn't looking very happy at all. She looked very miserable. Anyway, she then walks to the front of the sea and she gets her cell phone and she takes a selfie and she smiles this big smile. I'm happy, I'm at the beach. But before she literally looked suicidal. So then she goes back and she's obviously going to post, look, I'm at the beach. And that was it. That was the pivotal moment. Is everything you see is a fabrication, scripted. It's not the truth. And everybody is competing and comparing. Oh.
So one of the things when I work with my patients one-on-one and I see them, month after month or whatever it might be, and I see this pattern of neurosis that they continue to tell the story about this or that, whether they're projecting it on someone close to them, such as a spouse, or they're projecting it on themselves. And I find that that's the roadblock for these people, to prevent them from reinventing their next best self or the best version of themselves. And constantly I'm like, listen, I see how you're thinking this way, but let's get out of that loop. And I often talk about a thing called the pain shame cycle, where they experience pain, they find a way to medicate that pain, and then that creates the shame, which adds more to the pain. But you have a really unique way of describing neurosis and the neurotic behaviors and why we do that. Can you explain that?
Okay, I do these calls every day with people, and I take people through a certain journey, which is their childhood. And by the time we finish the journey, we come to the present day. Well, what is playing out today is the nervous system dysregulation of however they were in their home, unstable, unsafe. Daddy leaves, he's drinking, mummy's angry, short tempered. I listen. So much of it is unsafe, unstable. There's a lot of feelings of unworthiness, not good enough, unloved, not important. No one listens to me, no one cares. So now I have this nervous system that's dysregulated. And because the little child has all these feelings that nobody's saying, hey, little Jimmy, how you feeling? No one gets that. They just get told, 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 told. There's nothing wrong. It's just the system in place. So now we have all these little children growing up, suppressing all these emotions that get dysregulated in the nervous system, creating narrations, which is neurosis in the head. Oh, I can't do anything right. I'm so stupid. No one loves me. Oh my God. Doubts, fears, doubts, fears. So now we have dysregulations and the narrations, the script. And that's what's looping and patterning in the adult life. And everybody's going out to get fame and fortune and success and get married to try and feel loved, to try and feel good enough, to try and ease the dis-ease of this dysregulation and the neurosis. And again, I work with people who are well known or very wealthy and all married. They're all struggling to feel loved, to feel worthy, and to feel safe because they've not worked on the nervous system, and they keep paying attention to the script in their head because they've been running these loops and patterns their whole life. And it's like a spell. And to confront that, like you said, the pain, you're going to confront your little child inside, or all the feelings of that child, which we've desperately tried not to feel. And we do many, many things to soothe that.
I feel like he's giving me my life history right now.
Right.
Jeez,
There's a lot of that to it, right? And I think, one of the obvious manifestations of the neurosis is restlessness and preoccupation with things that don't really matter. They don't want to feel the pain. And one of the adjectives I give is like, imagine a storm is coming across the desert and there's a wolf or an animal that's standing in the desert. And if he tries to run away from that storm, the wind is blowing against his back and it's lifting up his hair and it's making him uncomfortable and he's running further and further away from the storm. But if he was to regulate for just a minute, take a deep breath in, turn around and face the storm, then the coat lays down and it's a little more designed to go through the storm. It's going to be a little rough, but that's the way that everyone needs to approach these type of life events and these uncomfortable feelings, to say, hey, I'm sensing this discomfort. I realize it's causing me discomfort or dysregulation of nervous system neurosis. And now I'm ready to face that. And that's one of the, I think, the clinical pivotal points in your discussion when you're managing these people is, how do you get them to objectively recognize the neurotic aspect of themselves? And I think that's where clinicians like us can come into place and say, hey, I see, how's that feel for you? But to be able to give them the strength, the knowledge, and the skill set to turn around and face that and then objectively, manage it.
Right. The nervous system is a survival mechanism. And due to us being in fight or flight most of our childhood, due to, again, everybody assumes that the nuclear family is a natural thing. Well, we've all heard the expression, it takes a village. If it takes a village, we are all void of a village, which means it's an incredibly dysfunctional, unsafe place to have two people. That's your village. Daddy, he goes off. Now we've got the village of one mother who now has to go into a dominant state because daddy's gone. She doesn't have 8 uncles, 8 aunts, 20 grandparents, and 50 children, which is the village, to support. So we have a lot of unsafe built into the nervous system. And so this neurosis and nervous system are constantly on alert. It's this erraticness, this, as you said, the discomfort. Well, how do I deal with breaking these loops? Well, I need to convince my body that it's safe and it's okay to feel the things that it doesn't want to feel.
Right.
So we're not feeling all the shame, not feeling all the deep unloved shame, not good enough, bad, wrong, stupid, feeling unsafe. We don't want to feel that. And we've also have incredible amounts of distractions. So we don't have to face it and we don't have to feel it. We've all been dumped in front of a TV since young children, and that's overstimulation. So now we have overstimulation addiction. Oh, that's very easy to now jump in front of a TV and disappear.
Hmm.
And everything else. So the thing, first thing I say is we are operating, most people's lung capacity is used 20% of the time, 20% capacity, 80% of the day, which means we are completely dysregulated and the edge of stress constantly. Anything happens, we go to frustration, anxiety, we go to worry, we go to scarcity. We're operating at this speed. So I say we need to learn, and it's not easy and it's exceedingly simple, is to go to a gentle breathing regulation meditation. Obviously, when I'm not talking, because talking I can't, but it just literally means all the time to start creating a habit. Bringing myself to regulation. So now, instead of being on this edge of the cliff, dysregulated, if I'm on the edge of the cliff and I'm dysregulated, any circumstance, event, situation, or other person, I'm triggered and I fall off the edge. Now I'm dysregulated and unconscious. Now I go into the neurosis. Now I can't break the pattern or break the loop. So I'm asking people, if we breathe, we step away from the edge inside ourselves, we give ourselves space to operate before falling unconscious and dysregulating. And it's the only way I could realize, after knowing all the realization and information, how do I regulate? Because I'm perpetually, constantly with my anxiety, frustration, impatience, scarcity, and worry. That's looping the dysregulation, because I've been doing that since a childhood. So my body wants me to do that. My body wants me not to feel the feelings and react and snap and project and defend and attack and complain. All of this is protecting me from feeling the feelings. How do I get to the feelings? I need to slow down because my nervous system is protecting me. It needs to know it's okay to feel these feelings. Someone today was saying, how do I go from 0 to 100 like that? And I snap and I argue with my mother. I said, yeah, your mother is the perfect mirror showing you the wounded little boy. And you don't want to feel the pain of the wounded little boy, which is shame. And so when you're in front of your mother, the one thing you're going to do is protect that and then return fire, a reaction. So you need to learn to regulate when you're not with mum, when you're out in the car, when you're doing the shopping, when you're watching TV, whatever you're doing, learn to regulate. So now here comes mum. I got space to operate. Oh, I can feel it. There's my, okay. Okay. Now I don't fall over the edge. Now mum can be mum and I can learn to manage those moments, master those moments. And that's a whole other journey.
So the whole secret is to just, when you feel the urge to react, is instead to just take a second, think about it, try and calm, and then react to it.
And
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
I was going to say that, listening to you and then utilizing what you have said in my clients, the one thing that I found to be very unique was that I do exactly what you do, is like, our brains are looping. We're in this neurosis. And as soon as you can catch yourself, even the slightest little hint that you're experiencing the neurosis, you pause and you kind of push it away and you hold it there for a minute. You say, oh, that's me being neurotic.
yeah.
I'm objectively outside my body now, or outside the loop, taking a moment, seeing the neurosis, at which point in time I objectively say, okay, that's just me in my old pattern. I want to learn a new pattern. So now I'm just going to breathe and just recognize it. And that's all I teach them, is I just recognize the oddities that are there, breathe through it, and say, okay, it's uncomfortable. I know where my trigger was. I'm just going to breathe and realize I'm okay and I'm going to be fine without that loop. And then
Yes.
once I've recognized that, then I'm ready to elevate. Is that something? Is that similar?
Yeah, very much so. But it's creating enough space so that when the trigger happens, it happens so quickly that we react and defend the pain that we do. What we're doing is we're defending the pain of the shame or feeling unsafe to most degrees. If someone's having an argument, or your mother or your father or someone close to you, a partner, that what is being triggered is the shame of our childhood, feeling not good enough, bad, wrong, stupid, no one loves me, unworthiness. All of that is shame, 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 and to absolutely identify it. I see you, shame. I see you. I see you feeling. I see you frustration. I see you worry. And that, like you said, I say it's okay. It's okay. I'm now parenting that part of me, that little child, that feeling that is always, 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 always looped and reacted, always, always, always. And now I'm going, oh, I'm not going to loop. It's okay. It's okay. Now there's going to be a feeling like a tsunami force, a gravitational pull that is used to falling off the edge. And that's why I say if we learn to breathe and regulate and move away from the edge, the force will try, but we've now got as well conscious that we're trying to build two things: regulating our nervous system so that we're not looping so quickly, and conscious awareness space that allows us to see, like you said, become the observer. I'm going to do this again. Now I've got the space to see myself, to not attach to it, and then sit in the feeling and feel the feeling. And that's one thing we don't normally do and haven't normally done. And that's the art of learning to feel. We've gone to the head, the neurosis. Oh, I can't do anything right. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I told you, blah, 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 blah. Projections or wallowing. And really, we're trying to not wallow in a narrative and not project and blame the outside world, but to detach from the head, detach from the circumstances and go, okay, there's that feeling, learning to be with the feelings and sit with them. They say the only way is through. And I say the only way is through the duration of the feeling. So now we're not projecting onto the circumstance. We're not wallowing in the little boy or little girl's story that I'm stupid, I'm bad, I can't do anything, I'm unsafe, and just sitting in the raw feeling. And that's something that most of us never learned to do, because as children, when we were told, when we were told off, when we were scolded, when we were shouted at, if a frustration or impatience was put on us, we wallowed. Oh, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm stupid, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I can't do anything right, no one loves me. Now we go into the head and no one turned round and said, I'm sorry, little David, I shouldn't have lost my temper. I love you. It's okay. I apologize. Oh, okay. Now there's love brought to that. So instead, all of these unloving parts, I'm stupid and bad, I'm wrong, no good, nobody loves me, I can't do anything right. Shame, 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 unsafe, 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 stuck, 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 again and again and again and again and again and again. No one's asked how I'm feeling. I've gone into my head. Now I'm looping for the rest of my life.
And you gotta teach yourself to be the
Yeah.
voice out of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that one of the powerful things that I've had to face is to be able to sit in this uncomfortability of the emotion and not have to like digest it or think about it or what does this mean to me, but rather just feel it, see how my nervous system is wanting to react to it. Again, reassure that I'm safe and I'm comfortable moving through this emotion. And then that emotion loses its power and strength because it doesn't create the neurotic, adrenaline and dopamine like, neurosis, and it doesn't have the neurological or neurochemical effect on me, and it gives me that space to be able to recognize that. But also, I think that the one thing that's unique is when someone has to actually stop themselves and hold themselves in endearment, that's the beginning journey of self-love and self-care. And it's in the model of self-care that we can start to repair ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, if we don't identify the need for self-care, we won't nurture ourselves emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and wellness. And I find that that's what I like about your model is that it takes that moment to pull you out and to recognize that I'm worthy enough to see it, recognize it, regulate it, feel the emotion, and not give it more power.
Yeah. And a lot of people's health to do with diet and to do with sabotaging their health and fitness is because they have a deep unconscious, whatever you want to call it, feelings that they're not worthy and not good enough. And so they will sabotage life to make sure that that is how they feel and think. Because if suddenly, all of a sudden, they decided, right, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to start walking, I'm going to cut out sugar, I'm going to do this. Very soon, that doesn't last very long because the body doesn't like to feel that good. It's used to feeling unhealthy. So that's why people sabotage relationships, sabotage their finances, and sabotage their health. So they keep reverting back to their unworthiness.
So what's
And
this the secret? How do you stop that loop and get, give advice to someone or even to take advice yourself on how to, stop that reaction that feels uncomfortable because things are going great, and to push through that and say, hey, I need to keep exercising, or I need to stop eating the sugar and do that forever.
Well, determination, discipline, and courage, that's why it's called the hero's journey. But what I used, one of the greatest tools, and I don't use it so much now, but it really assists, is inner child work. So we imagine that all of these unworthy feelings and neurosis that come up, that that do make us go into these downward spirals, when we feel and go into these thoughts, we breathe. Hey, we do what no one ever did. What are you feeling? We listen. Oh, I can't do anything right. Nobody loves me. Just can't do it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here. And we just suddenly be with that part that feels lost, feels lonely, feels sad, feels not good enough. And it literally can bring you to tears because you feel held. You feel comforted. You feel like, because most people do not have someone that they can truly be vulnerable with, even their partners. This is one of the bravest things. We were never vulnerable to mommy and daddy. We shut up. No one asked us how we felt, so we repressed it, suppressed it. All those feelings have been wanting to be felt, wanting to be seen, met, and heard. And when we get to our partners, what do? We project from it. We again repress it, suppress it. We don't say, well, I feel really sad and lonely when you say that. Not blaming, but I just get these feelings, being vulnerable and just like openly expressing. So, here's what. So I grew up and I was an academic, and I got a lot of ridicule at school, and I felt very stupid. And that was a big core issue for me. And once upon a time, I had a very clever, smart girlfriend. She was a coach and she had a degree in this and a degree in that. And I'd learned, because I'd gone to college to learn how to facilitate, and she'd gone. And all of a sudden, instead of, she said something and I felt I wanted to react. And I sat. I said, I'm triggered. And she came and sat next to me. She said, what's up? And it was really uncomfortable. I said, I feel stupid. And she said, you know where that comes from. And I sat with it. And I had a cry because I just sat with that feeling. It was like, it's okay. You're not stupid. It's okay. It was an old feeling now. Now I move through that, and I've done that again and again and again and again. I'm not stupid. I'm a genius. So I've worked through that feeling and thought, which was the script and narrations of my child. And what normally happens in a relationship, if the woman or the man, either way, says something and the man gets triggered to feel stupid, he'll react. He'll snap in a second because he doesn't want to feel the pain of shame, which is what feeling stupid is. What's your problem? Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot. I'm not stupid. That's the projection of protecting the shame. Now he doesn't feel it. He doesn't have to feel it, and he's projecting. And she's like, I'm just saying something, honey. Don't lose your temper. Anytime a man raises his voice, he's protecting little boy's shame. It's a very vulnerable journey for men to face their shame. We've all been grown up in something which most people don't realize is the patriarchy, which again, be a man, man up, men do this, men don't do that, be manly, men don't cry. That's a script. That's not authentic. So all of us men were little boys. We were authentic, we were sensitive, and we were vulnerable. Now we grow up, be a man, man up, men do this, men don't. Now I have to push aside being a little boy and I have to pretend to be a man. I'm only a little boy. I can't be a man. So shame. Everything is shame, 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 shame. Competing, comparing men, James Bond, sportsman, everybody's better than me. And I'll get muscles. I'll become a success with the women. I'll do whatever I can to feel accepted and validated. Shame, 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 shame. And that's what gets triggered in a lot of men. And we don't want to face it and feel it. And it's a huge cause of many other issues that manifest because we repress all of those feelings.
Masculinity. One thing that you said that I wanted to go back to when you were talking about that moment where you hold the inner child, I did a very interesting awareness moment where a lot of people, if I was to ask anyone, let's say George, tell me a memory of you, the first thing that comes to your mind of you as a small child. Give me an idea where you are at. This is just an example. Where do you see yourself?
Always, as he was saying, shamed,
But what room?
forced to be.
Where do you see yourself in a bedroom somewhere or a kitchen, or where do you see that inner child?
No, the first one comes out is actually outside when I was 5 years old. I mean, so a lot of what you're saying really triggers. So in my case, I had this weird situation where my mother expected perfection, but if I actually achieved it in my schoolwork, well, then I was being braggadocious. So there was no answer. I either got straight A's, but I couldn't say anything about it, or if I didn't get an A, then I was punished for that. So it was really, and so that's where I go whenever somebody says something like that.
And so the reason I ask that question is because often we leave our inner child outside or in a bedroom somewhere or wherever that memory of my inner child was. And when I recognized that anytime I thought where my inner child was, I remember the room, everything, I decided to walk back into that room as an adult, put out my hand and say, hey, why don't you come with me? And I brought that child out of that room, down the steps, outside out into the road, and I walked them back to my home where I was living as an adult. So that inner child is no longer lost somewhere in a room
Right.
years ago. That child is right here with me right now. So I can talk to that inner child today if I need to.
Yeah, this work is so special, and it comes up. You just said it comes up again and again, and this is the thing is it comes up in all different situations, and I like this very quick way of where a feeling comes up, we don't want to react, but we feel we could go into the narrations, and I say this is what we all wanted to hear, instead of everything else is it's okay. I'm here. I've got you. It's okay. And then I can feel everything. Oh, okay.
And is that something that you have to do by yourself as yourself, or is that something that someone can help you through?
So that's a shorter version. This I'm gonna express how I worked for a few years with someone, and then I would go to see him every 2 weeks. Well, we do Zoom, and I'd do inner child work, and I'd have a good cry, and then I'd wait 2 weeks, and we'd do inner child work and have a good cry. And I eventually, after a few years of really doing a lot of work, I was like, what about the time in between when I'm in the car and I'm getting angry and stuff's coming up? Why can't? So I formulated, okay, there was, let's just say it was a breakup, and there was a lot of anger and a lot of rage and a lot of resentment coming up. And I knew there was nothing to do with the circumstances that I was directing the anger and resentment at. That was the circumstance right now. The feelings were my little boy. So I would feel, not point and project at whatever the circumstance of the breakup was. Whatever the circumstances, I then breathe and I say, what's up, little David? What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And then I would listen and say, nobody loves me. I can't do anything right. I didn't do anything wrong. So now it's not about the breakup and the ex with the new man. It's feeling shame, not good enough, stupid, nobody loves me. That's the feeling. That's nothing to do with it, but that's mirroring, showing me the work I need to do. So I would normally just have a feeling, and I might get resentful and anger and go into a narrative and be, yeah. Now I've lost. So now I break up. Hey, what's up? I listen, ask, what are you feeling? And I listen, and there's always a little voice. That's the narrative of the little boy. Now, it's not a true story. Whatever the little voice says is not a true story. It's an old story that's been looping, but now I can identify the feeling. Oh, that's the feeling of the little boy. So now it's okay. It's okay. You're safe. We know where this comes from. I identify. I say, this is an old story. Like, you put your hand out and lead the boy to, I say, it's an old story. We're not living this story anymore. So now I'm left with the raw feeling of shame and unloved, and I sit with it. It's okay. So it's not the breakup, the exterior. It's not the story of the little boy. It's the shame. Now I'm with the raw feeling. That's how I go to the journey of being with the feeling. And the more I work with the feeling, the less the projection comes out to the old story. And the more I work with that, the less it's triggered. Oh, someone says something and I feel a blip compared to way, way back in my life going into a rage, crazy. It's quite incredible. It's called abandonment rage. A lot of people in prison have this. It's really quite incredible how children take on a lot of pain and hurt, suppress it and repress it, and it comes up, but it doesn't know how to function, or no one's there to hold it and be there for it.
So this sounds like a really long journey. Does it get easier with time? I mean, you were talking about you met with someone every 2 weeks for a while.
Yeah.
How long does it take? Is it I mean, it's taken me 66 years to get to where I am now.
Okay, so
How
you just
long
said
can you
it's taken me
expect?
66 years to get to where you are now. Now, it's going to be a journey that is a journey, and it takes discipline and courage and determination. And the more I am presented, triggers are anything that upsets and disturbs me and is triggered inside me is an opportunity for me to face and feel it and do this work. So obviously, it's going to be, I say, I've been driving the vehicle, the car of David, in automatic. I'm an automatic autopilot default setting of what we label as wounds and traumas, feeling bad, wrong, stupid, dysregulated nervous system. I'm driving in automatic. And now I ask myself, however many years ago, I'm going to now go to a stick shift. Oh, now I'm going to be aware of my neurosis. Now I'm going to have to regulate my nervous system. Now I'm going to have to do inner child work. It's a whole new language, a new operating system, while my old systems are looping and downloading.
And
And
you're gonna
so,
probably strip some gears in the time frame. You're preparing this lesson.
yeah. New clutch, please. So again, this is where self-compassion comes in, that I'm learning this journey, and every time I fall unconscious, I don't beat myself up. I go, it's okay. Where I am is okay. So yes, I would say I was on what they call a spiritual journey of studying courses, classes, learning a lot of intellectual understandings and realizations, until I realized that when I start breathing and regulating and doing inner child work and breaking loops, 66 years, you've got to give yourself a certain amount of time where you practice your process till it comes closer to second nature, quicker and quicker and easier. It's like if you were driving a car, an automatic, for 40 years, 50 years, and I gave you a stick shift, you're going to be messy for a while, and eventually a year down the line, it will be like second nature.
Much as like driving automatic.
All of your patterns, all of your loops, all of your neurosis, all of your nervous system are going to learn a new operating system. And you are always presented with ways to rehearse and practice it. And then eventually, from identifying, doing the inner child work, what can happen is, with frustration, anxiety, impatience, worry, scarcity, being triggered, feeling all of your shame or feeling unsafe, within a few seconds, the light of my awareness and the regulated nervous system doesn't allow it to operate. It cannot pull me in. It vanishes, but I'm doing the work, and it's in real time. it just cannot pull me under. I cannot dysregulate, and I cannot go unconscious into the neurosis and narrations because I built a muscle. So regulating the nervous system, let's say it's like going to the gym. I need to regulate, regulate, regulate. Otherwise, I keep dysregulating, dysregulating. And the conscious awareness, which is the observer that sees my neurosis, is conscious awareness is a muscle. So the more conscious aware I become, and I'm getting all of this practice, the more regulated I become. Stuff will always be presented, but I'll be able to work with it easier and quicker. I'm literally mastering a new way of operating this vehicle.
I think the next question would be, as we move from dysregulation to regulation and then into elevation, the people say, what's the point of elevating? And I find that the point of elevating is basically trying to elevate yourself into authenticity, which tends to be the highest vibrational, kind of most influential, most attractive energy that you can really fall into, is that authenticity.
Yeah, elevating consciousness. So I fall unconscious. I fall into my neurosis. I fall into my insecurity. I fall unaware and unconscious. So I'm elevating my consciousness so that now something will happen. Okay, that happened. Now I'm so strong in my conscious awareness and my nervous system that I don't get anxious. I don't get frustrated. I don't get impatient. I don't get triggered. I don't get upset and disturbed like I used to. I'm now higher above that. So now the whole system is quite happy with itself, worthy within itself, safe within itself, love within itself, because all the unloved, unsafe, unworthiness are also triggers that I'm going to work with, like the inner child. Hey, what's up, little David? I feel stupid. It's okay. It's an old story. So, yes, if I do that for 4 years, that stupid part of me is not going to feel stupid anymore. That's not going to rule my life. So life's going to actually open up because I'm resonating in a very different place because I don't feel stupid. I don't feel scarcity. Now life changes because I'm regulating and elevating and resonating. It's a very spacious place within.
Mhm.
But now I can be myself. Now I'm not worried of what other people will think.
And I believe that also takes you out of the invisible cage. That cage that we put ourselves into because of these places we want to be safe and whatever. But then when you elevate and you become authentic, then the whole world becomes your playground and you get access to unique opportunities, and you don't live out of fear. So you're more likely to explore it, and not explore with new relationships, explore new avenues of learning. The world becomes a lot more approachable when you're in that authentic space instead of operating in the neurosis. And I think that's what makes life exciting, and that's the ultimate goal, is to rise into that freedom to explore this one life that you woke up in and to enjoy the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't have any intention of holding the sessions I have. I was an actor and I walked away from acting. I wanted to focus on writing and my art. And I went to college to study spiritual psychology because I was working on this. And eventually I was just doing so much work, and I'd been trained to facilitate, trained to listen, but I had no intentions. And then just through sharing, which I've been doing on Instagram for 15 years, however long it's been going, with no intentions, but I'm just sharing my journey. And it's now grown into something where, my books, which I produced myself, which I wanted to write because I wanted to put what I put in them. My books are doing amazingly well. My sessions are doing amazingly well. And it just happened. And I'll tell you what happened is, at one point, I was in a very downward place. I cut myself off from Hollywood. I had one dog had died. Most of my parents had died apart from my father, who has had dementia. I had to cut myself off from my girlfriend. My wages got dropped down to 90%. California cost of living went up. I was in no validation world, and I hit rock bottom. And I admit, it wasn't that long ago. I was scrolling for gun stores, and I decided I have one dog left that I'm not going to go yet. I'm going to dive into this and do this work. And after a year and a half of really going into it, nothing had changed in my life. And I felt amazing. And I said to someone, something's amazing because I have no reason to feel this good and I have no validation. Money's not coming in, savings are going further down, cost of living's going up, parents all gone, one dog now got blind, deaf, and dementia, and no one there virtually. Oh, and I feel astounding. Then everything just started falling into place. Oh, okay, we're doing this. Oh, okay, this is happening. Oh, okay, people are asking me to do podcast. Okay,
Yeah. I think
okay.
that's that, oh, go ahead. But authenticity creates synchronicity.
Yeah, the drive, the opposite of authenticity is a drive and need and want for validation. Now we can get it, and then what happens is exactly what happened with me in Hollywood. Is I got to a very good part, and everyone was recognizing me, and I had money, and I was miserable and insecure and angry and desperately not getting, it wasn't enough validation. I didn't know when I was going to work again, and it was not a good place. And I was watching everyone around me who had far more money and fame, and they were all drinking or they were all just as insecure. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So getting to a place where there was no validation and feeling fantastic is a rarity because our whole lives are geared to get our safety, our security, our validation, our approval from mummy, from the gold star, from the grades, from peers and fashion, and then boyfriends, girlfriends, pay rise, new car, home, all of it. Everything is geared to that makes me happy. Now I need something else, a hit of something else, a hit of something else. And most people, and I speak to them every day, people with a lot of success and married, and they're not happy.
But you're happy now with you found a way out of what was causing the problem. Like you said, you've lost the money, you were, on your own, but yet you felt great. What's the physical? So we've been talking all about the mental, emotional side of it. What happens physically when you're able to get through this process?
I noticed a lot of old. I'm not void of aches and pains, but I noticed tension in my body starting to dissipate, and then, oh God, that doesn't happen, that's not there anymore. Oh, this isn't there anymore, that's, oh, okay. And again, I'm healthy with my diet as well, and I have a very regimented. I'm where I am, whatever age I am, I feel astounding and amazing because I love my discipline. I get up, I go to bed early every night, I get up early, and I do a few hours of discipline of whether it's breathing, whether it's yoga, whether it's mantra, whether it's walking. And I by 8 o'clock, when most people are up, I've done a few hours of looking after myself. I pretty much don't eat dinner anymore. I pretty much just have 2 meals a day, and I hydrate. But I'm very much feeling whatever comes up. I'm not void of what we call neurosis, insecurities, but it does not last a blip. I see it.
Wow.
Okay. 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 It is what mastery is that we are the sky. We are full of weather. And the weather comes along, the storms come along, the rains come along, and usually we become the rain and we become the storm and we get caught in it. But if we can realize that we are the sky, which is the awareness, the emotions, and the neurosis, once we build the conscious awareness strength, oh, okay. So now I'm more content and at peace and have grace. And through this work, I have compassion for where everybody else is, which means I have less judgment, less anger, less frustration with people, and less reaction because I know what they don't know what they're going through. They're stuck in their stuff and they don't know how to get out. How dare I go, what's your problem? Can't you do anything? Right now I'm suffering myself so now everything is okay. Well, there's a lot of compassion to be found for everybody else because I found it for me, for my little boy. So that's a beautiful, healthy peace and calm and grace that, oh my God, it's a great gift.
And to answer and expand on yours is, we're lowering cortisol. We're lowering the acidosis that happens because the cortisol is always running up our insulin levels, our glycemic indexes. That's why people are are basically skinny and diabetic. It's all about cortisol.
Right.
And so we're really trying to calm down the nervous system from stimulating all the adrenaline, all the cortisol, which then helps
Absolutely.
regulate all the health measures. And heart rate lowers down. You get heart rate variability. You get better blood pressure. Less inflammation generally everywhere, not to mention neurological inflammation. And so I think it's a longevity hike or the longevity hack. And
Absolutely.
put the whole picture together, and now you're really operating on all cylinders.
Yeah, I'm literally becoming okay with everything I was not becoming okay with, which is what they call surrender and acceptance, the opposite to resisting life. Oh, okay, there's traffic.
It's just traffic.
And it's okay. I watch myself and go, this is quite amazing, because I know it's okay. I'm going to get home, and I used to go the opposite. And so, someone's in a cafe, they bring me my coffee and it spills in the saucer, and they say, it's sorry, it's okay. Just give me a napkin. It's okay. And you can see people's reactions that you're not getting upset with. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Wow.
one of the-
Everything becomes okay, because it is. It's this that wasn't okay.
One of the things that I find was when people will say sorry for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I'm sorry. I'm like, whoa, stop. You have nothing to be sorry about. It's okay.
Yeah. Apologizing for ourselves is a definite part of being the child that can't do anything right. The child, like you said, I would get not good grades and I was bred. If I got great grades, then I was told, well, who do you think you are? I can't do anything right. So, people do. It's apologizing for yourself, apologizing for this. It's like people say that to me. Sorry, what did you do? What? I'm just standing here. You turn around and you said, sorry, what did you do? Well, you're apologizing. And I get, and then I said, do not apologize for being you.
That's right. That's right.
And people get dumbfounded. They don't even realize, oh, sorry. Yeah, it's quite rampant.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of to wrap things up, what is the key tenets or the foundation for your approach, and how do we point people to get more information? You mentioned you have some books. We'll post those on with the podcast. But what are some of the foundational steps that you'd recommend?
The foundation for all of this, which is what I say is a living, breathing regulation meditation. Whenever I'm not talking, gentle, slightly slower, slightly deeper breathing. You can do this everywhere apart from when you're talking. Now, I can do it while I'm listening to people. This is now perpetuating, and going from this is bringing myself. So now I'm operating here. I'm operating here. I'm operating here. I'm constantly keeping regulating. I'm regulating. I'm regulating. Otherwise, I'm operating like that. Here comes the traffic. Oh, traffic. Here comes mum. Oh, mum. Now I'm in it. I fall into it. So learning to create this space so I can operate and break the loops and the patterns, that I can identify the triggers, and I stop myself from falling over. The books, there's the map, which is the map, which is the navigation and translation to life. And I haven't got it here. There's one somewhere. The map.
You're all sold out.
No, they're usually on the table, but yeah, do you want me to get them or not?
No. I'll find the links.
Yeah. So the map is a book of how we got to be this. It goes through the patriarchy, the nuclear family, the influence of the media, wounds, trauma, whatever you want to call it, the soul's journey, and then how to navigate and translate what I call the school of life. Everything is reflecting me back to me. So that's doing him phenomenally well. It's only been out a year. It's really quite astounding. It's really assisting people, and it was it's very simple. It's not all the woo-woo jargon. And then after the map, there's the operating manual, which is half the size, which is literally how to do this, how to operate this new language of life. So we have the map, how I got here, how I got to be this, how I navigate and translate my way from here. And then the operating manual to life is how I break the loops, how I regulate the nervous system, how I come back to grace and peace and compassion. And it allows it's very simple. And I live this. I live the map and I live the operating manual. And it's really, I would say, in if you were 66 and you were to dedicate just 2 years to breathing and learning to break loops, you would look back and say, oh my God, I have reduced the amount of reactions and the amount of anxiety, frustration, and worry and scarcity by 60%. That's worth it. And I'm not doing anything but learning to be aware of myself.
And it sounds like the key is to avoid the fight or flight response because it's not useful anymore. We're not running away from tigers. We're putting
Right.
up with traffic, as you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, absolutely. This is what I put in the book. So you have a deer, and a deer is in homeostasis and it's eating grass, and it hears something, and now it either fights or it runs, in fight or flight. Then soon later it comes back to homeostasis, it's eating grass. Oh, no, eating grass, I'm eating grass, I'm a deer, I'm all right. Oh, what's that? Run. Very rarely it goes in. Now we've, due to the systems in place, nuclear family, void of a village, fight or flight, stuck, constant. To varying degrees, we are stuck in this. And so now the nervous system thinks this is safe. So as soon as if you would go to I got nothing against it, but you go to a breath class, your nervous system's going to go, and then it's going to snap back because that's not normal. That's unsafe. And then you're going to hit traffic and you're going to do this again. So this is why the breathing regulation lets you know it's safe, lets you know it's safe. You're safe. This is what it is. It's okay. We literally constantly thinking, it's not okay.
Well,
Shame.
I definitely have to say that your acting skills make listening to you very, very enjoyable. You bring out the emotion inside what you're saying. I know it's authentic. You're doing it authentically, and that's what makes it even more interesting is to see your stories, to feel the feelings that you're trying to relay here on the podcast today. And I think it's a great blend of skills with your emotional intelligence and your ability to bring that to the screen and in a passionate way. That's probably one reason. And honestly, before I started connecting with you, I didn't even know you were an actor. So this is just phenomenal work that you're doing today.
Yeah.
And thank you for reaching and changing the hearts of so many people. And I'll continue to share our podcast with our patients and the people in the area and hopefully bigger.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I'd love to touch back with you just as we try and take some of the stuff and get through your books and see what it does. Like I said, maybe by the time I'm 68, I'll be a little bit calmer.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful journey of self-inquiry and understanding that we can master this, and it's just being compassionate with that part of us that we never were. So it's very, very sweet. It's a very sweet journey if you disciplined and courageous enough to take it.
Well, thank you again. We'll be back.
Thank you.
You can get the information on David's books and some of his background information. We'll put that up on the website. Appreciate your time. And if you want to learn any more, go to restorewellness.org or give us a call, 513-400-4228.